When I look back and I reflect upon what we learned and how difficult it was for us to produce the 2006 and 2007 Power of the Cross festivals in the heart of downtown Austin, Texas, it was hard and it was difficult, but we grew so much. And perhaps the lesson that we learned can best be defined by what Jesus said in Luke chapter 9 when he challenged the crowd. In verse 23 and 24, he said, "If any of you want to become my follower, you must turn from your selfish, self-centered ways and take up your cross daily and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will find it." Leading up to the 2006 Power of the Cross Festival, we had a lot of word of mouth buzz that was taking place, which is the best form of advertising. Since I didn't have an advertising budget, that was really important. But then all of a sudden, the Rolling Stones decided that they were going to add one more stop to their world tour and come to Austin, Texas for the first time ever. And that they were going to build the biggest stage that anybody had ever seen the day after our festival. And that they were going to limit how many people they would allow to come to 70,000 people. Well, from that point on, nobody talked about our festival that would take place the day before. It was all the Rolling Stones. That was a very difficult time for us. All of us that had worked so hard to put that festival together. I never intended to put together a second festival, and then all of a sudden my phone rang and it was the Austin Park and Rec Department saying, "You've got this first right of refusal. Are you going to produce another festival?" I didn't know that I could secure that property there, the most sought after property to do a festival of anywhere in Austin, Texas. And so I began to pray about it. "Lord, what is this? Do you want me to produce another festival? The first one nearly killed me." And as I was praying, my prayer partner and ministry partner at that time, John Cochran, also began praying with me. And there was a series of events that unfolded that led us to empty out both of our bank accounts to produce the second Power of the Cross Festival. One day, a very talented person who develops websites from Nashville, Tennessee called me. He says, "I built this website. It's perfect for your festival." He said, "It's $10,000. He showed it to me, and it really was the most amazing website I've ever seen in my life. And so I paid him $10,000 and bought that website. And because of that website, we were able to attract up-and-coming Christian musicians that represented all kinds of different genres. Christian rap, Christian reggaeton, worship, praise, and others. And we were able to attract these bands from all over the United States. So the Lord's hand began to move again. We were auditioning some of these bands at Austin Public TV. I was one of the few people at that time that was certified in the main studio. So we'd bring these bands in if they were local or didn't have to travel too far, and we'd put them on live TV, and then we'd audition them just to perform at the second Power of the Cross Festival. Great things were happening. We selected the Fred Thomas Band to be the headline band, and not only did Fred agree to do that, but he also set up housing at a really nice brand new condominium for all the out-of-town bands to stay at when they came into town. Well, God was clearly on the move. Great things were happening, but also we experienced our fair share of spiritual warfare. Paul Ojeda, Bishop Paul Ojeda now in Austin, Texas, volunteered all his church to volunteer and fill all the volunteer positions that needed to be filled for the festival. But then all of a sudden, a very powerful person politically in the Christian community called him up and tried to persuade him to withdraw his support for the festival and to cancel his commitment to provide all the volunteers that we needed. Well, thankfully, Bishop Paul Ojeda kept his commitment, and we were able to find the volunteers that we needed. But that wasn't the only challenge we faced. Unknown to me, a volunteer created a website, and he used our entire database that we had built for the Greater Austin community that had 360 churches in there, pastors, and contact information for their offices. And he started a campaign, a propaganda campaign. He resigned before the second festival took place, but his propaganda campaign was to turn around and to spread lies about the festival and about me, and to discourage any of the churches that we had tried to reach out and connect to from participating in the festival. If that weren't enough, it rained the second day, off and on, all day long. I felt so bad for bands like Untitled that came all the way from Chicago just to participate in the festival. At this point in my life, I thought I knew what it meant to deny yourself, to take up your cross daily and follow Christ, but I began to realize that there was still so much more that I needed to learn. And perhaps the lesson that we learned can best be defined by what Jesus said in Luke chapter 9 when he challenged the crowd. In verse 23 and 24, he said, "If any of you want to become my follower, you must turn from your selfish, self-centered ways and take up your cross daily and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will find it."